Hello. So welcome to web development. Some text I typed in MS Word, and after that I can simply save it. Generally, while saving the file, I am saving it on a desktop. Somewhere on desktop I am saving it. So on desktop, it is asking the file name. I just given as hello and see the save type. Generally, MS Word files means you people may know that they are saved with extension DOC or DOCX like. But MS Word files, in MS Word, when you design a file, it can be saved as a web page also. You see, I am saving here, save type. I am selecting single file web page. I am saving as single file web page. So the file name is hello and the save type is single file web page. So you are saving as a web page. Here you cannot give any extension because type itself will take the extension. So sometimes what happens is the softwares like MS Word and all, when they are giving extension, automatically when they are giving extension, they follow the rules of naming, operating according to operating system naming conventions. Usually files will have primary name dot secondary name, and the primary name usually can be any length. So but secondary name can be maximum 3 characters only, 3 characters as per rules of operating system. You can give a lengthy name also, doesn't matter, but as per the tradition and the rules of operating system, it must be 3 characters. So that is the reason sometimes you have files JPEG type, which will have an extension JPG only. So here, in that case, HTML files cannot have HTML because L is again 4 characters. So you need to just define. So here automatically it will take HTM only. That means when I save this, when I save here, it will have only HTM as extension. You see here, I click on save. So it is saved. After saving as web page, once see the output here. So in our desktop files, so we have a page called hello. So hello is a HTML page. And when I save this, when I open this, so let's open in browser. So open that in the browser. And you can see here we have a different extension. It is a HTML file only, but you see it has given an extension called MHT. Hello MHT. So this is also a HTML file. We call it as MHTML file. So that is Microsoft hypertext format. It has saved. You can do one more work here. See, open. So when you open this and you want to save it, so that means you are selecting as save as. You see now, I am saving on the desktop files. And here I can select as web page. There is an option called web page, single file web page, web page. When I selected web page and hello world, suppose hello HTML, that is the name, hello world, something like this, and save it. Okay, now let's go to the location. You can see there is another file called hello world. Same I have saved hello world and open this file. Now you can observe that it is having the extension HTM. So that means when you are saving the file with HTML extension, it is a general approach. Sometimes when you publish files from other softwares, they cannot give extension 4 characters. They can give extension only 3 characters. Due to that, file names will get HTM as extension, not HTML. So it doesn't matter. Browser can understand HTML or HTM, both are same, no difference. So if you ever see these HTML files, if you ever see those HTML files, that means you can get to a conclusion that, okay, this file is published from some other softwares like MS Word or something like that. But it's not guaranteed because people giving the extension, they will give HTML or HTML depending on their requirement. But what is preferable is, so anything preferable, there is nothing. But when we write, we have to follow, we will follow the tradition of HTML. So we give the name as HTML only. We define and give the name as HTML only. You can give HTML or HTML. So first point you need to understand is the file extension. So we can give the HTML extension or we can give the HTML extension. So that is HTML and HTML. This is generally the extension of HTML file. Okay. After understanding the HTML file extension, secondary. Now in the HTML page structure, HTML starts with 2 important options. You have document declaration, and we have document scope, document declaration and document scope. That means the HTML document at high level contains 2 areas, the document declaration and the document scope. It comprises of these 2 main parts. That means, so at the high level, a HTML page comprises of these 2 areas. You can see this is, I'm just structuring here. At high level, the page comprises of, first it contains document declaration. HTML page starts with the document declaration, and after document declaration, it comprises of a document scope. These are present at high level, document declaration and the document scope. These are present at high level. We have document declaration and document scope, right? So what is document declaration and the document scope? We will see that, right? Let's check that one second. Yeah. So what is document declaration and what is document scope? We will see that. That means it will start with document declaration and document scope. The first line here. So the first line is document declaration. What is the purpose of document declaration? See, generally we are using a browser. So we are using a browser. I showed you a simple overview of how browser works. So browser actually, browser comprises of a translator. We generally call this translator as parser. Browser comprises of a translator, we call it as parser. So we have a parser. Usually, this parser is responsible for translating the code that you have written That means generally it is responsible for translating the tags into elements and present it on the browser. It is responsible for doing that. Already one architecture diagram I showed you how browser actually works. So this is the browser architecture actually. Browser architecture. You usually have a browser engine, and this browser engine, and we have a rendering engine. So detailedly you will get to understand some more points. So these engines are responsible for processing whatever the code you have written and convert. Actually, this is the hierarchy it happens. So already I explained in the introduction itself, right? So the bytes will come, the bytes are converted into characters, and the characters are converted into tokens. These tokens are attached to the nodes and form a DOM, document object model. So tokens will find the start tag and end tag and handle it. The parser is responsible doing all this. It gets the bytes code, converts to the characters. Those characters are recognized as tags. Those tags are converted into elements and they are attached to the DOM. So this is generally how the process happens. Now, actually what the point is, the browsers that we are using, every browser have its own parser. That means there is no universal parser. Every browser have its own parser. Internet Explorer, separate parser. Chrome, separate parser. Due to that, as a HTML developer, one major problem that we face is the browser dependency issues will be there. That means in one browser, HTML can understand. In another browser, it cannot understand the same concept. For example, observe here, just to see the concept here. Suppose I say date of birth and I given something like input type is equal to date. Observe carefully. Currently, I am opening this in a browser called some Edge. I am opening in Edge browser or Chrome browser. You see, in the browser, you will find the date picker is present. For date picker is present. You can select a date and you can choose a date from here. The same page I will open in the same page I will open in Internet Explorer. In Internet Explorer, you can see there is no date picker. Click there. Date picker is not there. But in Edge, it is showing. In Edge, it is showing a date picker. But in Internet Explorer, it is not there. Same HTML is used in both locations. But browsers fail to understand because every browser have its own parser, its own translator. Due to that, every browser cannot understand HTML in a proper way. This is one of the biggest headache with HTML as a developer. Why? Because as a developer, we cannot use only what we know. We have to use only what universally all browsers can understand. Because you cannot force the users. You cannot force the users to use any specific browser. User will be using different browsers. He will be using Internet Explorer, Chrome. So in that case, you need to design in such a way that it can reach every browser. So one of the main problem is parser. So we have to tell the parser which version of HTML we are using. Because parser can understand HTML previous version, that is 4, and current version HTML5. Some browsers cannot understand HTML5. Due to that, some new HTML5 options are not recognized by them. So these compatibility issues will come. So some browsers can understand both versions of HTML, HTML4 and HTML5. So we have to tell the parser which version of HTML we are using, So that is defined by using document declaration. Document declaration is the first line in HTML, and it is written like this: doc type HTML, exclamation doc type HTML. This is called document declaration. What is the meaning of this declaration? If you write the document declaration doc type HTML, this indicates that you are using HTML version 5. So this is the line introduced newly in HTML file to tell the browsers that this is the new version of HTML. So browsers can use the new parsing techniques and translate in a proper way. So the point is, you have to tell the browser which version of HTML you are using. So remember, if actually in HTML, everything is presented in a different way. You observe carefully here. It is showing doc type HTML. See, in angle braces, generally we write a tag. This is a tag. But in that angle braces, this exclamation indicates that it is not tag. That means this is not a tag. So this exclamation is used to denote negation, not a tag. It is not tag. If it is not a tag, that means you are saying that this is not going to present anything on the page. It is just to tell the parser that you are using HTML version 5. So from HTML5, they introduced this declaration type to make the browser understand that we are using HTML version 5. So HTML version 5 is defined by using this doc type HTML. So you have to tell the parser. And capitalization doesn't matter. You can use lowercase and uppercase. Now, many times people ask the question, if I don't write doc type HTML at the top, then what happens? That means now browser can understand that it's not HTML5. You are using HTML4. So if there is no doc type at the top, that it will automatically recognize it as HTML4. Then several new options it cannot handle properly. So better always mention the version for HTML by using this document declaration. You have to specify that by using doc type HTML. So it is document declaration. You can observe. That means whether the page is designed in HTML5 or not. Suppose you open Google. So when we open Google, I will right click and inspect. Right click on the page and select inspect. In the inspect, you can see in the elements at the top, there is doc type HTML. Doc type HTML. So it indicates that you are using HTML5. That means they are also using HTML5. If there is no doc type HTML at the top, that means it is using some old version of HTML. So this is called document declaration. So the purpose of document declaration in HTML is to tell the parser which version of HTML we are using to design. I hope everyone understood it clearly. Is it clear? What is the first line? Understood everyone? So document declaration. Yes. So this is the document declaration. Why we write the document declaration and what is the first character. Okay. Next important. After mentioning the document declaration, now comes the document scope. Document scope. So after the document declaration, then comes the document scope here. So document scope is defined by using HTML. This is document scope. So why we need to mention the document scope and how we deal with that? So what is document scope and how do we define the document scope? So document scope is nothing but generally, if anyone asks, like, suppose we have a page. So if anyone asks a question like in a browser, so we have a browser. So in this browser, can we display multiple pages at a time? If anyone asks, like, can we display multiple documents at a time? So of course, you can display multiple documents at a time. That means browser have the ability to display more than one document at a time. It have the ability to display multiple documents. If it can display multiple documents, we have to mention the scope of every document. So for example, see here. So scope indicates that HTML is the scope, indicates that this is document 1. That means start of document 1 and end of document 1. You can have another document. So that is document 2. That means now these two documents, the two documents are present under one HTML scope. The two documents are present under one HTML scope. So these two documents, you can observe carefully when I run this. So I will right click and open with live server. See what browser will do. Browser is going to display this document 1 and document 2. Observe, right click and inspect. When you inspect in the elements, you can observe that both are displayed in one body only. What is the body section we will discuss in the next level, but see, both are displayed in one body. So browser is going to merge all your documents and display as one. That means it is going to merge everything and display as one. It can display multiple documents. It can merge those documents and display as one document. It can display as one document. So this is generally a point of presentation. In that case, for developers, it is difficult because now developers have designed separate documents like login and register. So in login, some controls are present. In register, some controls are present. He want to handle the controls of register. He want to handle the control of login through logic code. Then it is difficult for a developer to understand in which document those elements are present if everything is merged in one. That is the reason it's very important to mention the scope of every document so that developer can easily access the document element and use that element in the logic. For a user who is watching, he don't need to know about anything this, but a developer need to configure that document start and document end. That is defined by using this HTML. So everything that you design, you have to make sure that it is in the document scope. This is the document scope. So document declaration and the document scope. So when you are designing document and using the document scope and configuring the document scope, one of the main issue here is, so we have document and the document scope. One of the main issue here is this document can be using different languages in presentation. Can be using different languages in the presentation. It can be using different languages in presentation. For example, it can be like, so HTML languages means general cultural languages like English US, English Indian, English French, German, French, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, all these are different languages of presentation. That means you have to tell the parser one more thing. So you have to tell the parser, browser have a parser, I told you. To the parser, you have to tell 2 points. First point, which version of HTML you are using and which language you are using. Which language you are using. Language for presenting. Which language you are using for presenting. Document language is required. So why? Because recently browsers have a translate technique. So they can translate any foreign language into English, like Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, or German. They can translate into English. That is the reason. So you have to tell the parser which language that content is. That means, remember, according to the language, the spellings, the presentation will change. For example, you see, suppose Amazon is there. Amazon, we have Amazon.com and Amazon.in. 2 options are there. In Amazon.com, also it is English. Amazon.in is also English. But Amazon.com, its currency style will be dollar. Its currency style will be dollar. Its date format will be month, day, year. That means 05/25/2021, like that. That means the display of numbers, the display of currencies, display of dates, display of spelling will be COLOR. So this is according to that English language US. So, but Amazon.in is an Indian. So it will contain Indian rupee as currency symbol. It will contain day, month, year as date format. It will contain color as COLOUR spelling. That means the presentation depends on which language you are using. Remember, it is not going to translate. You are just going to tell the browser that I am using this language. How to tell the browser that document is designed in English Indian? You have to use an attribute here. So the attribute is nothing but an additional property to mention more about that particular tag. Remember, when you are learning HTML, so there is a confusion. People sometimes say attribute, sometimes say property. So attributes are defined in a tag. In a tag, we write attribute. Here we write attribute is equal to value. Property is not used here. Properties are used in your JavaScript, jQuery, Angular. There you use properties. Properties are used dynamically. Statically, we use attributes. What is difference between attribute and property? You will learn once you start understanding about JavaScript and jQuery. Initially, in HTML, whatever you write in a tag is called attribute. There is nothing other than attribute. So everything is an attribute. So HTML tag is having an attribute called language, LANG. the language attribute defines, so which language you want to use. So the language we want to use is English, EN hyphen, so US, or IN, Indian. Like this we have to write. So English India, English US, depending on which language you are using. So this is very important for a browser to understand which language you are using. So browser needs to understand this language in order to translate in future if required. So for that, it is very important to mention the language of document. When you design a document, because our document starts from here. So when you design a document, so you have to mention which language that is going to present, right? So you see, you can observe this. Suppose I opened here www.amazon.com. This is amazon.com, right? I am defining these two options here. So here we are defining. So in Amazon, you don't postmortem that, okay? So first two like this. You have to just know the language representation. Don't go more than that. Don't cook your brain too much so that you will be out of the context. So just follow what I explained, that is enough for you, okay? You don't try to postmortem by yourself and imagine. So then it will be very difficult for handling a technology. You just follow what I say, that is enough. This is a string representation for a language. Now don't postmortem that and imagine yourself that EN is for language, IN is for country. Don't give more strain to your brain. You can't handle this technology. Initially, it looks easy. Once you go further and handle a lot of context, then it becomes very difficult if you try to imagine too much. Okay, right? Just follow what I say. That's great for you. Okay, so don't try to think more extra than what I am explaining. That's enough for your level as of now. Okay, so this is don't think that this is EN is for language, IN is for this. Why you are wasting the time in understanding so much complexity? That's not required. Only the point is every format is not in the same way. So it will be changing. Every language have a different scenario. So you have to just understand how to write the language. How do we configure the language? Right? So the language configuration for every language, it is not same. So where you have to get that? So for every language, you have to get from w3.org. So this is the official website. You can go to this official website and here you can have a search box. You search for the languages. So that means the language attribute. Or you can use MDN. MDN is Mozilla Developers Network. MDN, developers mozilla.org. Go to MDN. Here you search for HTML, language attribute. So it will get you the result for that language and it will display. And what are the various language options? It will get you that and display. And it will give you the list of all the languages. And don't imagine yourself everything, okay? So just follow what I showed you here. So other languages, you have to go here and you have to check. And here, sometimes you will see, so the language options, how they are defined, configured, and specified, right? So here you have language like EN, that is English, FR, like French, D for German. So don't imagine yourself everything, okay? Right, that will be more better in future. Remember this forever, okay? So just follow what I showed you, that's enough. So let's go to inspect of this Amazon. And in this Amazon.com, you can see that here they have defined English US. The language is English US. So this is the language used for presenting the content. So due to that, what happens is you can see here the presentation of any content. Suppose I selected some toys, and when I go to that particular, and you can see here, so everything will be like dollars and presenting in the format how they need. So when you visit our amazon.in, and you can see that when I inspect this, so when I inspect here, you can observe here at the top, so it is showing. So at the top, it is showing the HTML language is English India. So every language have a different scenario, so different option to configure. So it is English India, English, so that particular US. Now the point is, so don't imagine that French is English, French. What is English French, right? English France, English only, right? So English US, English UK, English India. And if it is France, then FR will be there. There is nothing like one country name, another language name, right? So some languages are defined just by using, so the language. So you have to define that language. So here we are configuring English India as the language. So generally, capitalization doesn't matter for tags and attributes, but it is always preferred to define in lowercase. So make sure that everything you defined in lowercase, configured in the lowercase. So this is document declaration and document scope. And document scope have one important attribute. That attribute is language. Language indicates so which language you are going to use in this particular page for presentation. So in which language you are going to present. That is defined by using this language. Can a page display multiple languages also? Of course, a page can display multiple languages. If a page is displaying multiple languages, then we will not give entire HTML as a language English. We can give separate blocks. A paragraph can have a separate language. So this language is used not only in HTML. Later, you can write a separate paragraph. That paragraph can have a language. That means you can have multiple languages. And if you mention language at document level, that means you are mentioning for entire document. If you define at this document level, so language, that means you are mentioning for entire document. But if your document is trying to present multiple languages information, so some paragraphs in a different language you want to present, in that case, you can put that for every paragraph also, every paragraph. So don't think that this is only for HTML. Language is defined at HTML level means it is defined for entire document. So if a document contains several languages, presenting several languages, then you can keep in that particular paragraph level also. So that is the point to make the browser understand which language you are using. So that is HTML. So how we can configure and how we can define. So the HTML language. So generally, when you are working with HTML pages, so these two are at the high level. First, document declaration. Another one is document scope. So document declaration, doc type HTML, and document scope HTML. In document scope, so one important attribute, so language, so which language you are using. That's what we have to define. This is at high level. We have two areas, declaration and the scope. Now inside the document scope, now this is the document scope. At the top, you are having document declaration. And here you are having the document scope. Now inside the document scope, you have two sections again. Inside the document scope, so the document is divided into two major sections. We have a head section and we have a body section. So inside document, the document is divided into two sections again. We have the head section and we have the body section. The document is divided into two sections, right? So the document comprises of two major sections. One is the head section and the body section. So what is the purpose of this head and body sections? So that means now inside the document scope, head section is defined by using head and body section is defined by using body. These two are the major. Now inside head, again, some contents are present. Inside body section, some more contents are present. So what is the intention of this head section and what is the intention of this body section? The purpose of head and body sections. What is the purpose of head and body section? Let's see. So the purpose of head and body section. So what is the purpose? So first let's check what is the purpose of a head section. Actually, in the browser, you have one more important point to understand is, suppose we have a browser. So we have a browser. So this is the browser. So we have the browser. Browser is allocated with the memory. So browser is allocated with the memory, which is actually cache memory. So browser is allocated with memory. So sometimes what happens is everything will not be directly displayed inside the browser. First, it is loaded into memory and it is kept in the memory of the browser. And from the browser memory, it will be used later whenever required. That means two situations are there. Information can be directly sent to browser to display on screen. And sometimes information is kept in the memory of browser so that it can be used only when it is required. So now two points are there. You want to directly show and use in the browser, or you want to keep in the memory and use it later whenever required. So head section, remember, head section contains information. This information is sent into browser memory first. From the browser memory, later browser can use it or it can show inside the browser area. That means workspace, it can present it. That means you have to keep some content in memory and use it later. That is defined by using the head section. So by using the head section, we create. Body section contains information which is directly displayed in the browser. Instead of loading into memory, it is directly displayed. It is directly displayed in the browser. So the content that you want to load into memory and use it later whenever required, that is designed in head section. And the content you want to directly display in the browser without loading into the memory of browser, so that is designed in the body section. These are the two important areas. So generally, head section intention is to load into the memory. Don't think that head section means top margin. Header is different, head section is different. Inside the head section, again, we have several things. That means we have head section, and inside the head section, we can present several things. Usually HTML head section contains title, it contains link, it contains meta, it contains script, so and style. These are very often seen so in head section. So remember, all are optional. If you don't give them also, it's okay. But professionally, if you don't give them, browser is unable to understand properly the situations. Then a lot of issues will come. So you have to configure that. So what is the intention of head section? I told you. Its intention is first load everything into browser memory. And from the memory, it can be provided to the browser or it can be provided to the page. It can be provided to the browser or page. So browser also can use that content and page also can use the content. In that, first important in head section is title. So you observe carefully. We will run this page. When I run this page, open in live server, it is empty, nothing there. It is empty, nothing is defined here. Now, here in this page, you can see that in this page, you can see this is the browser. In the browser, this is address bar. In the address bar, you have page path defined. At the top, you have title bar. You can see that the title bar is having the same title as the path. Path is used as a title there. So, but I want the users to have a convenient title to see there for our page, which page they are watching. I want a proper title. This title is used even in bookmarking the page. When you are bookmarking the page, the title will be used in bookmarking. Bookmarking is like adding to favorites, right? Observe carefully now. When I right side, you see, so we have bookmarking options. That means right side, you can see there is bookmarking option. So you have an option, add this page to favorites. When I click add this page to favorites, you can see that the favorite is displayed. The name is, entire path is taken as name. So we want a proper reasonable title for bookmarking. So that is defined by using title. That is defined by using title. In the title, I defined as, suppose, a full stack project. That is the title. You can give any title. So title indicates, it is two purpose actually. It will show the title in the title bar. You can see that now in the title bar, you have full stack project. In the title bar, it is showing that full stack project. You can see the title bar has full stack project. So address is showing the complete path, but the title is just full stack project. Not only that, when I click add to bookmark, add to favorites, you can see the title will be picked here. So that means the purpose of title in head section is to display title for the page and to add that title into the favorites when you are adding the page into favorites. So that means title will be used as favorite. So usually that is the intention of title. And who is using this title? This title is used by browser now. So browser is going to use this title and handle this title. So browser is using the title and browser is handling the title. So that is actually the concept of title. So the purpose of title is to display title in the title bar. That is in the head section. And it is not displaying anything inside the browser. Observe. Inside the browser area, it is not displaying anything, only in the title bar. You have another important element in the head section, that is link. Actually, link is used to link external files to your web page. It is used to link external files, which you will learn later. CSS and other files you will learn later. External files means it can be a CSS file or shortcut icons, favorite icons. We call them favorite icons. I will show you how to create a favorite icon. So link is used to link favorite icons, style sheets like that. Favorite icon is nothing but, so generally in the web page, so beside this title, we have a title. Beside that title, you can see there is a small icon. Beside the title, there is small icon. And actually, this is the title. This is the title. And this is the favorite icon. So that is the favorite icon. This is favorite icon. That is favorite icon. So that is the favorite icon. You can keep your own favorite icons. You can keep your own favorite icons. That means you can put a proper icon. Amazon have Amazon icon. So Google has Google icon. You can create icons. But while creating icons, you have to follow certain rules. Now, what are the rules is, generally, if you want to display icon, so favorite icon, we call as fav icon. Favorite icons must have the extension .ico. Now, some people foolishly, they come and say that, sir, I am using PNG, it is working. I am using JPG, I am working. What you use, I don't care. We don't care. What you are using, what you are doing, we don't care. The only point is you are following the standards of web development. Why? Because if you don't follow the standards, it will not behave in the same way across every browser. So we don't care it is working in other format, it is working in JPG format. That is foolish thing to tell every time. Because many times people say that, sir, in my computer, PNG also working. So what? I don't care. So PNG is also working, we don't care. So, but as per the standards, icons must have extension .ico. Otherwise, browsers fails to understand it properly, and in some browsers it will not work. So we should never take such chances. So follow the standards in designing. Always we have to follow the standards in designing. That is the difference between ordinary HTML learner and a web developer. A professional web developer will not use just what he have and what he knows. A professional web developer will follow the standards and design as per the standards. Otherwise, so websites will face a lot of issues technically when they are going live. So favorite icon must have the extension .ico. Okay, second point. The icon size must be 16 pixels to 32 pixels height and width. That means it should be 16 into 16 pixels or maximum 32 into 32 pixels. It should not be less than that, more than that. So anything between 16 to 32 pixels is okay for favorite icons. Many times you will take a big photo and you will say that icon is not coming. So here, how much space is there for favorite icon? Very small icon that is. And you want to put your photo as favorite icon, that is silly thing. So that means you have to keep only very small icons there. So not a large photo uploaded and say that it's not working for me. So this we regularly see people trying. That is the reason we have to tell the exact standards of design. So otherwise they will fail to implement it properly. So it's 16 to 32 pixels size and should have ICO extension. So you can design anywhere. Online, so many websites are present. So you can go just first go Google and you search here. So online icon creator, you will see so many icon creating softwares on it. You can see so many. Some are free, some are paid. You choose any free one. You can open that icon creator software. And in this icon creator software, you can create your icons. You can create your icons. So here you can design an icon. Here you can design an icon. And you can save this. You can download it. And you can use in your project. Ready-made, they will give you some symbols also, which becomes more easy. You can even design in your MS Paint also. Just open MS Paint. MS Paint. In MS Paint, you see currently our page size. So this is our white space. That means you know that this is our page large size. And you can observe how many pixels it is having. So at the bottom, you can see it is 1800 pixels, 1400 pixels. So reduce the size of that here. Let's scroll. Adjust the height and width. You know how to change the height and width of MS Paint page. So at the corners you have this, and adjust the size now. So and make sure that you are setting the size very small. And you see currently it is 2025. That's okay. So that is the size I have designed. So in that you have to create your logo. You can keep up to 32. You can keep up to 32. That is better. Okay. That's okay. 25, 29 is there. And here I am changing the zoom level and we design an icon here. I want to create an icon here. So let's put here a symbol. So draw some icons here. Suppose I am drawing an icon like this. So I will fill up with some color. And here I will just keep some text, some symbol. Okay, I am configuring this. Some text I am writing here. And this is the icon. Okay. That is the icon I created, just icon I created. Now we need to save this icon. So let's save this icon. And where to save? In your project location. Our project is C drive. And our project is, this is our front-end web application. In that we have a assets folder. So save in that location. So front-end web application. And front-end web application assets. In assets, you have to save the file. And you can give any name. So hello, any name you can give. But as per the tradition, so favorite icons. So we'll have the name called fav icon. Fav icon. .ico. Extension is ICO. So fav icon.ico. Extension ICO. But you cannot give ICO extensions directly here. So what you have to do is, so here we are saving this as fav icon. So I will show you easy method actually. What you do is directly in your project, observe carefully. So what you do is in your project, go to assets folder. In assets folder, you add a new file and give the name as fav icon dot ICO. That's it. You can directly give fav icon dot ICO. After giving this, open that in MS Paint. That means now open here. Open that in MS Paint. So in our front-end web application assets, we have a fav icon. I opened that fav icon. After opening that, so you paste that in this page, you paste that I designed, that I pasted, and I will adjust the height and width up to it. That means you design like this. That will be more easy because already you saved fav icon, that is small icon size adjusted. So small icon size adjusted. So now save this. This is your favorite icon. We designed the favorite icon. I can adjust the width. Okay. And that is the favorite icon defined. Fine. Now save this. And that is fav icon.ico. You see, this is the favorite icon. So we created the favorite icon. Now we have to link this favorite icon to our page. Now see here. So we need to go to the index page. We need to go to that index page and define. In the index page, we need to configure. In the index page, now here we have to define link. Actually, one basic point you need to understand here, observe, our project is, this is our project file structure. We have a page called assets, a folder called assets. In that assets, we have fav icon .ico, and we have another folder called public. In that public folder, we are having index.html. Now, the image that we want to use is not present in this folder. What we have to do is, we have to come out of this folder. And access this assets folder. In that, you have that fav icon. So, how to write the path? See, generally, the path is written like this. Dot. It is used to exit the current folder, and go back to previous level. And if you // you have to use. If you want to go back 2 levels, then you have to write // If you go to 3 levels, then // like that. How many levels you want to go back? So that means currently our project is, our file is in index is in public folder. We have to come out of this public folder and go to assets folder. Then what we have to do is link href. Href indicates the path, virtual path, reference path. /. In assets, we have fav icon. That is what you have to define. Link reference location. The reference location is this. Okay. In this location, it is present here. Now, what we have to do is, we have to tell one more thing. We have to tell what type of file you are linking to the browser. That is defined by using relation, REL. Remember, there is no order in attributes. You can write relation first, you can write href later. There is no order for attributes in HTML. You can write any attribute anywhere, but it should be in link tag. Relation indicates what type of file you are linking. That means, is it a CSS file? Is it a shortcut icon? It is a shortcut icon. So you have to write shortcut space icon. Remember, this is not general word. It is a professional keyword. You have to write exactly like this. Shortcut, one word, space, icon. If you miss any part, it will not work. So we created a favorite icon for our web page. And you see now, we have a title and we have a link. And you can see when I run this page, open in live server, and you can see our page is having our favorite icon. And you can see the full stack project is the title, and beside it, we have the favorite icon. And this icon will be used in bookmarking also. This icon will be used in bookmarking. That means when I bookmark this page, you click on add to favorites and full stack project. Okay, done, bookmarked. Now you go to favorites. In the favorites, you can see full stack project. That icon is also bookmarked. That's what we have to define. That's what you need to configure, right? So that means that is bookmarking. So of course, so we can do so much work in the head sections, we will discuss initially two important options, title and link. So how to create, how do we configure? So the HTML structure, that is important. In the head section, title and this favorite icon. Link is used in several ways. Later you will learn for style sheets and all. Initially, we are using for shortcut icon. And don't come up with your own imaginations and with your own context, like for JPG I can give, PNG I can give. What I am talking here is standards. So just follow the standards. That's it. So other files are also working. Some friend is using some other file. I don't care. We don't care about that. We have to follow as per the standards. So that is the reason. So don't use any other type of files. Use only these. Don't use any other size. Use only the size I have defined. That is exactly according to the standards. And that is general Windows operating system. You know Windows operating system. So in Windows operating system, because people who don't know general computer operating also, for such people, it's a little bit difficulty in general concepts. CD ... You know dot is used for, you know this, Abhishek. You know this, you know Windows, Abhishek, you know Windows. You don't know Windows also. Genius, right? At least now know dot is used for coming out of the current folder. Understood? Exit the current directory. Understood? Abhishek, dot is used to great. So it will come out of that. That's enough, right? So that is to understand that it comes out of the current folder. And how to define a new folder? You have to use a slash. By using slash, you have to write assets. That's what I explained, right? So this indicates that exit the current folder and access this folder. In that we have a file and you can link it. So this is favorite icons. Once you are good with these favorite icons, now up to this you need to practice. Then tomorrow we will discuss about the other options. So the meta and the other options. So in the head section, and we continue designing the body section also. Tomorrow we'll continue with that. Okay, right.